What's going on, y'all? Let's watch Karen. Now, I've watched that movie before
I
when
have
it
not.
first came out. It was everything I remember it to be.
This movie is terrible.
It's so bad. When I first saw it, I really thought that it was like a satire. Like I thought it was satirical. I did
I
not
agree.
think that they like were seriously writing this. And I don't see anywhere where it says it's satirical.
No, it was just a bad movie. That's all
Yeah,
it was.
because it would make sense if it was satirical, but no, it just seemed like it was badly written.
It's a
And-
good bad movie though, because we were thoroughly entertained. Like we were like cracking jokes and stuff the whole time. So it was a good bad movie.
And part of the reason why I think we had so much fun with this is because we had Dallas, okay, and
Corey Hardwick. In this movie, his name was Malik, but we referred to him as Dallas the whole time.
Yes, because
Dallas is from Divorce in the Black. So he plays the antagonist of the movie. Such a comical villain. It was ridiculous.
And that's Corey Hardwick. To start it off, we're gonna go ahead and just give y'all the rundown of the movie, and then I guess we'll give you our rating at the end of it. Okay?
It's really not much to break down, but yeah.
This is Karen. All right. The movie starts with Dallas and his wife Imani moving to this new neighborhood, beautiful neighborhood. It's a new community. Is it like who says gated? Is it gated? Yeah, it's gated. So it's a new community. She's a social media influencer. She's a blogger, and he actually runs a rec center. They move into this new neighborhood, and as soon as they move in, there is a woman who I don't know what her real name is.
Her name is Karen.
My name is Jeff.
Her name is Taryn Manning, playing the antagonist of this movie. Karen actually has been in some decent stuff. She's been in Orange is the New Black, Sons of Anarchy. She's been in Hustle and Flow, but she was in 8 Mile.
So they move into this new, this new house, and automatically we see her just like staring at them while they moving in. And
well, no, what happened was they were moving, and she's out, and then the kids were going to school, and so she's standing there, and she like sees the neighbors and sees obviously it's a black couple, and she just kind of gives them this kind of weird death stare, and they're like, "Hi." And she,
oh my god!
Okay, this bitch is weird.
And then the neighbor walks up, who is of Asian descent, and she's like, "Oh, this is great! Like we got some, we got some diversity. We're gonna have a more diverse area." And she's immediately annoyed by what this neighbor is happy about, which is the diversity. She's not so happy about this. She kind of shoos the neighbor off. The neighbor goes away.
Can we talk about the dialogue? The dialogue between, I don't know, the actors. Like, it's fucking terrible. Like, she's like, "Oh, they're black.
I love black people. Yeah.
It's great to have some diversity."
I'm not a racist. I love black people. Yeah.
Is that how y'all talk?
It's unrealistic. Even the dialogue between Dallas and Imani is very unrealistic. Like, and for instance, like they're standing at the door, and what did she say? Like, "You're strong, beautiful, woke." Why? Which I've never heard. Sorry, like that's just not the way people are talking to each other. And
because after we heard that, we had to actually look like who wrote or directed this, and it's actually a black person. So he must have been he must have been raised in suburbia, because this was weird for me.
There was a time where black folks would wear a lot of like Afrocentric stuff, but this was like decades ago. There was like this effort to push back on like stereotypes around black people, and and present more of a positive, lean into more of a positive depiction. Obviously, I think fast forward to where we're at now, I think more black folks lean into like the American experience, right? We know now about appropriation and stuff like that. Like I think more people just recognize that there's a different experience everywhere. Like black people, like any other group, are not monolithic, so you're gonna have different experiences depending on region, and do that. But I just felt like it was so much to the point where it didn't seem realistic. Like,
it was just in the wrong decade. Yeah, and we were just laughing, and they got like, one lady's wearing like Africa earrings, and they had like African like statue type stuff. I'm like, why they got all this stuff in their house like that?
Karen is obviously, not happy with them, and they catch her putting up a camera.
You just hear drilling, which is Which is the wildest thing to me. Is like if you live in a house, like you're gonna hear things. Like sometimes neighbors are having stuff done to their house or around their property, and you're gonna hear it. And it's just if I hear a drill going up, I'm not really gonna go pay attention to it. But they hear, and they're like, "What? Let's go see what that is." And then you see like there's a camera being installed by Karen herself.
Right at them, and they're like, all right, that's kind of strange, but all right. Then fast forward, they're in their room getting, undressed for the day, which is another like crazy thing. They're literally standing in front of the window,
getting ready to knock the motherfucking boots. They just butt naked, just ass out, no curtains on the window.
Karen's son is looking out the window.
Of course.
She comes up to sees him looking out the window, and she's like, go downstairs. But then she starts looking out the window.
Oh my God.
Not in a way like, oh my God, let me close these blinds. She's about to risk it all.
She was catching a little jungle fever there.
The next day, she's in a restaurant with her friend, and these black guys are talking, like having a good time.
Yeah.
Good time. They were laughing and stuff like that. And she won't stand for it.
I will not stand for these blackies to have fun.
He goes up to him and is like, y'all gotta be quiet. I'm gonna call, or I'm gonna get y'all kicked out. And they basically told her to fuck off, and she did call the manager, and she got them kicked out.
Get the fuck out of here!
And then we are introduced to her brother, who happens to be a cop.
Like randomly walks up and talks to her, like in the restaurant. It was very short. Like you just see a cop walking, and all of a sudden he just sits down at the table and just like, hello brother, hello sister.
Move forward, Dallas is in the car smoking.
Of course he's smoking marijuana because he's black.
And apparently his wife doesn't like smoking. So he does it in the car. Who comes creeping up to the motherfucking car to talk to him?
Like the shadow when the sun is going down, boy. She just creeped up. Damn lady, I can't even smoke some weed in my car. Can I help you?
Starts talking about black people like infiltrating. But then she also asks him what he does for a living.
You sell drugs? Excuse me?
Give a little backstory to her. She's a widow. Her husband passed away, and she's a stay-at-home mom. There's a camera that Karen set up facing towards the house. Brings her pecan pie, which I'm not a fan of. Y'all let us know. Do y'all like pecan pie? So she knocks on the door with a pecan pie in a glass dish, and she goes, hey, see, you got the camera. Is it possible that you can you reposition that camera? Because it's like literally it's like directly at the house. Do you think you guys could do something about the fact that y'all don't got curtains because my son almost saw y'all,
clapping cheeks.
Y'all naked. And so she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll do something about it.
You know what's funny? She's actually like, oh my God, really? I'm like, yes, you're butt naked in the window. Yeah, somebody's probably going to see it.
So fast forward.
Dallas was washing the car, and the son's basketball, he might have missed a shot or something. So it came back. He grabbed it. He started dribbling, and it was really weird. He's like, what you know about this? And they started playing a little basketball with each other. And I guess he was trying to show him some defense, but they shot a little hoops and stuff. And then that's when Karen came out, and you could tell like she was probably still a little, horned up from the night before. And she's like, hey, could you help me put in, I forgot what kind of fluid she needed help being put in her car. She's like, he's busy. And he was like, yeah, sure. And so then she kind of like touched his arm or something. And of course he's like, in his head, he's like, what the hell? And so he ended up spilling the fluid on his like hands and his shirt. So then she was like, well, just come inside and you could clean it real quick. And he's like, no, that's not necessary. I can go home. She's like, no, I insist. So then he came inside, and she's like, I could just wash your shirt for you. I'm like, damn, lady. Really?
Get all undressed and shit.
Right. And so he's like, no, I'm good. I just need to go to the bathroom. So she's like, it's down the hall to the left or something. So he's walking down the hall, and he's like, what'd she say, to the left or right? He sees this door, and he sees this bright illumination under it. He was in a trance. He just walks up, opens it, and he sees like this chick has like a monitor with all the security cameras like pointed directly at their house. He was like, oh snap. So after she put all those cameras up, they would show her like in the room watching their cameras, obsessive. And then he goes to the bathroom, washes his hands. Then he sees that she has a soap dispenser with a Confederate flag and two, I guess, Confederate generals up on the wall.
Aside from that being like alarming, it's also just bad decor. Like that. Why do you want pictures of generals in your bathroom? Like, I don't get that. Like, so he just bolts out of there. He's like,
you want a drink? And he's like, I got to go.
After that, there's an HOA meeting. Karen is the head of the HOA. Karen expresses frustration at smoking. And so they're like, why are you making a big deal out of this? And like, there's some issues between them and her. So fast forward after that, and Imani is going for a run. And she gets back home after her run, and here goes Karen, being weird again.
Just popping out of nowhere.
This woman is always around a corner, even when there's no corner. Like, she's just popping up everywhere. She's talking to Imani, asking her what her name, means. Telling her name is Pretty, and you guys just have the most creative names.
Parents do that type of stuff, so they do say like rude shit. You be like, come on, bro, like what? Like.
Or you have a conversation with them and they're like, oh my God, you're so well spoken. And it's like, as opposed to what? So at that point, during the conversation, Imani expresses that they're preparing for a housewarming party. And Karen is like, she says it's gonna be for family and friends. And she's like, well, I think we're kind of like friends, which I would have stopped her dead in her tracks at that moment. And I get wanting to make peace because that is your neighbor.
She just invited herself. That was the problem.
I would have been like, nah, fam, we're not fam. Like, I'll send you a plate. To go back to the pecan pie thing, she threw the whole pie in the garbage. Like, in all fairness, if a neighbor brought me something like that and I'm new to a neighborhood, I probably wouldn't eat it anyway because I just don't trust people. They're at the party and she brings a fruitcake. They're talking about police brutality and racism and things like that, which again, like, for dinner parties, I've rarely been to a dinner party, and maybe this is just my family and friends, but when we're partying, we're dancing, we're having a good time, we're joking around.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely have I gotten into really deep conversations at a dinner party. But of course, the entire conversation at this party, this housewarming party, was about BLM. When Karen went into the kitchen, she says, look at you slaving in the kitchen. Something like that.
Lady, choose your words better.
So they're in there, they're talking about police brutality and just, racism. And she decides to put her 2 cents in. Of course,
you guys need to get over it. Why don't you just comply? If you don't like it, go back. I'm not racist. You people. Then the sister with the Africa earrings. She
ultimately just gets kicked out. They're like, you gotta go because
you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get out of here. Right.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Next day or whatever, during the day, Karen walks over and she sees the trash can in the front yard. When he first moved in, she had ran into Dallas and no, she knocked on the door, something like that, and basically was telling him like what days the trash is supposed to be out.
The HOAs, they have real strict guidelines because they don't want your trash can to be in front of the house because it looks tacky. But she's just being like really anal retentive about it.
So she gets all upset about the damn trash can being out and just knocks it over. She just kicks the shit over and then runs and then gets out of there.
Yo, that run was hilarious.
So then Imani comes out, sees it, and, starts picking up the trash. And now Karen's daughter, Sarah, walks out of nowhere. I mean, just like her mother, creeping around. Basically, she offers to help her with pick up the trash, and she says yes, which I would have said.
Nah, I'd have been like, nah, go back home. Go back to mama.
Telling Imani that she has this boyfriend, this little boyfriend at school, and that, they're just kids, so obviously they do innocent stuff or whatever. She's like, we don't kiss or nothing like that. We just play on a swing set or whatever. The reason why she don't want to tell her mother is because he's black.
Cream? No, thank you. I take it black. Like my man.
So he's black, and my mother doesn't like black people.
And mine's like, but I'm black. And she's like, my mother doesn't like you either. I was like, damn.
And Karen comes out of nowhere, sees her daughter talking to Imani, and basically is like, no, get inside. They get into like a little back and forth. And then now...
No. It wasn't a back and forth. It was like, don't you come near my car. Like she was going to throw hands. I was like, wait, hold on. Who you talking? And then she was like, yo, get off of my property, Karen. She's like, oh, excuse me.
Fast forward, and this is kind of where it starts to heat up a little bit. Karen is doing what she does, which is be annoying and be everywhere where she ain't supposed to be.
Being creepy.
3 boys who are like 40-year-old, but they're supposed to be teenagers.
Oh, yeah, 40-year-old kids.
they're walking home. I need to see proof that you guys live here. Where are your IDs? And they're like, I'm not showing you anything. And one of the boys says, you don't know who my dad is. Something along those lines. And she's like, I don't care who your dad is. Something like that.
You
So
don't know
she
who
goes,
my
"I'm gonna call
brother
the cops."
is.
Right.
Yeah.
So she calls the cops on them. And as the cops are arresting them, Ani is a blogger, right?
Yes.
So she's recording this as well. And when she puts it up, it kind of goes viral.
Yes.
And now the boy who said, you don't know who my dad is, his dad is a lawyer, but he's also a civil rights. So it starts heating up. Because it went viral, obviously, the news is talking about it, and it kind of snowballs. And so
Karen's watching on TV with a giant wine cup.
She gets let off the HOA.
She gets fired off the HOA, and she starts laying down some plans. Now, isn't the next scene where Dallas is at the bar with his boy? He follows him there and calls the police officer. He's like, yo, hey, he's dead. And I guess he told the cop, he be smoking. He be smoking the tweeds and stuff. And then they was like, yeah, okay, cool. So the brother and his partner was like, all right. The brother was with his partner. He was like, all right, we're gonna pull up on this dude. And they end up pulling him over. It was really funny. Like, keep your hands where I can see him and all this stuff. Gave him his ID. Tells him to get off the car. He's like, for what? And then, you got the normal cop thing, how they do in the movies. He's not being forthcoming for why he pulled him over. I gotta search the car. And then he plants weed on. And this part gets crazy. So he plants weed and was like, man, you planted that shit, man. Yeah, but Dallas was coming out, but he couldn't put his fingers in his face because I think they had handcuffed him at that point. The cop gets a little mad at his insubordination, punches him in the stomach and all that. And this fool does the worst thing you could possibly do and headbutts the, the cop got his get back and they, put him in the car and then they arrested him.
It's important to remember, right, that with the brother is a rookie cop.
Yes.
And throughout the thing, he's telling the rookie cop, listen to your superiors. He keeps saying that or whatever. But after Dallas gets arrested, the rookie cop pulls him to the side. He's like, that wasn't police protocol.
Some of these cop groups, internal gangs, that's just as bad as street gangs. It was we called the brotherhood. And I'm part of it. You listen to your superiors.
So he's like, yo, that wasn't cool and I'm going to have to write you up. And he's like, well, if you do that, he basically threatens to unalive him. I'm going to do it myself if I have to. Basically saying he's supposed to be untouchable because he's part of this brotherhood.
After Dallas gets out of jail, she's just chilling in her house and she hears I think her car alarm goes. You go outside, you see just Karen sitting on top of her car.
Just sitting on her car. She just...
she a child.
I would have got in the car and turned it on. And be like, look, you got 2 seconds to get off my goddamn car.
And more racist stuff to basically explaining the thing you said earlier that lived in a nice neighborhood. As soon as black people came in, they started messing up. She was like, we just don't jive together. We don't belong. You need to go. That's when Imani was like, yeah, we ain't leaving. Screw this lady.
We're gonna fight this. So they end up going to the lawyer's office, and here goes Karen in the car again, watching them as they go into his lawyer's office. So she calls her brother, all right, they're going to that lawyer's office, and he's a popular civil rights attorney. So they go in there, and he's like, I don't know. He said, look, these cases are hard to fight. Prove that it's racially motivated. Imani says, well, I'm the one that emailed you a video. And he's like, oh, so once he realizes who it's about, he goes, I've been looking up on these people, and the brother has obviously a shady past, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna look into this.
Also he talked about the husband. He actually wasn't that bad of a person until after her husband got killed. I think her husband might have got killed by a black person. She used to be a elementary teacher, but she got fired for talking about racist stuff.
Racial shit to the kids.
I guess the trauma response to her husband dying was to just be more racist.
She said when they were growing up, lived in an area that was fine and safe until one black family moved in, and then a bunch of other ones moved in, and then all of a sudden it became a hellhole. It must mean that all black people are like that. He basically tells them the brother's crooked, and so I'm gonna look into this. Karen
activates her brother again.
Yeah, so they get a warrant.
So they could, so she could separate the white. So then Karen, with a fat ass gun, I'm gonna tell you guys, this movie is literally an hour and 22 minutes. She only gets deadly psychotic, with something
10 minutes
on the side of the house and cuts the lights off. You know, they called the lawyer. He found out that the Dallas wasn't at the office yet. Yeah, so you know they panic and they call her. She's like, "What?" She's getting ready to go out the house. Right when Imani's leaving, and this part annoyed the shit out of me. Right when she's leaving, you see her at the door in the back, and she got a gun just standing at the door. And you're like, wait. Well, at this point, she could run.
Standing there, like watching her bust open the windows, and she has the gun pointed at her, and she's still just standing there. And it's like,
yeah,
Nani, move out of the way. Like, why are you in the way?
Girl had the gun pointed at her, but then she reaches in with the dominant arm, and she had the gun in to open the door. That would have been a perfect time to run.
She runs. In the beginning, they show like the entrance, and in the entrance, there's like two swords. So Imani grabs one of the swords, and she's standing over at the side.
She did her like Wakanda warrior like stance.
The funniest stance. I was like, and then she runs upstairs, and here goes Karen. Brother gets like
a shots fired in the neighborhood, right. And he dropped all his donuts, and we knew it was serious at that point.
Like, oh shit. Karen goes upstairs, and Imani. We were talking about this too before. Like she's standing right in front of the doorway. Like she's not approaching the doorways with any sort of like caution. She's just like fully exposed. Imani comes behind her, she hits her, and then drops the thing that she hits her with.
Karen in the back of the head. She's grabbing her head. Obviously, anybody would, because that's a sensitive area to get hit in. And drops the gun, and this bitch doesn't pick it up.
No, she won't go fight her, and somehow they tussle, and she's trying to get away. Karen gets her hands on the gun again and shoots at her.
Karen shot like half her bullets, missing every shot.
Right.
She's getting up all weird, eyes are closed. She ain't even like focused. Like, run! What are you doing?
And then instead of going down the stairs to where there's an exit, she walks into the bedroom.
The brother and the rookie cop is outside. They run inside to help his sister.
He's like, look, if I'm involved in this shooting, we don't need that. They're plotting it.
You shoot her, and then I'll say that you took my gun.
Actually, the rookie ain't with none of the shits. And so
he heard the gunshot, so he went in. He was like, okay, somebody got shot. I don't know who got shot. He don't know.
He goes up, and he sees them both having shot her, and they're both like standing with their guns or whatever. And he's like, what are you doing here? Go into the car. Move out of my goddamn way. He checks. He goes, she still got a pulse. And he notices the sister still has the gun. He's like, drop the gun.
Shoots first. The brother shoots him.
Yeah. And he catches him in his motherfucking
head. The rookie shoots the brother in the head. And his reaction of falling down was so fucking funny, man. It's because the rookie cop is on the floor. Karen points the gun at him like she's about to finish him off, and like Imani picks up weapons and shoots her. But like when we look at it in the bed and the angles, like, she got shot as if she got shot in the back.
The ambulance, and they get taken to the hospital, and the movie ends.
One of the funniest parts. So they're up there. You see Dallas. You see the lawyers. You see Imani with her arm in a sling. First, I didn't notice it because I was listening to the man, the literal dude playing a fucking trumpet. Why are you playing a trumpet while I'm speaking?
I guess we could give like a rating. I guess.
Okay, you go first.
Entertainment factor, easily 8.5. Because even if it wasn't intentional, just the bad writing, and it was close to satirical, which that's not what it was supposed to be. If it was supposed to be like a serious movie about these topics, I would have to give it like a 4. It was so silly that it came off as satirical, and it wasn't a realistic, in my opinion, depiction of how any of these things go. You know what I mean? Like I think, well, with the exception of the Karen thing, because it is true, like how they were handling it. Because I didn't feel like it was realistic. So I think I would give it like a 4.5.
If we're just looking at this as like parody or something, it was hilarious. I give it an 8. As for horror, there's so much horror in it. Like shut your lights off and like bust in your house with a gun. So shoddily and goofily done. Like it was like terrible. So like the horror factor for me is like a 1. I'm mad at them trying to address certain social issues, but once again wasn't done right or written well. Overall, we're just judging on a movie. Like, would I go to see this and recommend it? No, I'd probably give it like a 4. If you like bad movies, this is probably something to watch. You'll probably very much enjoy it. It's funny as shit. And it's not supposed to be funny, but it's funny. So if you're like a bad movie watcher and you enjoy this like Tubi movies and things of that nature, yeah, this is a recommendation.
And if you not done so already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like the video and leave a comment.
Yes.
And if you've made it this far in the video, dial us in the comments. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching and later.
Hey, don't get your nose slapped off.